Welcome back to The Art of Violence. Today, what we're going to be talking about is why Jake Paul has done nothing for the sport of boxing, and why he probably will never do anything, and why Jake Paul is not necessarily a net negative, but definitely not a net positive for the sport of boxing. Now, many of you are probably going to be disagreeing with me in this. Many of you might think, oh no, he's done this, he's done that, fought this world champion, he did that, he brought more eyes to the sport. Well, that's an interesting take, and I would have to agree with you in some way, shape, or form. But here's the thing. Show me the numbers as to where pro fighters are getting paid more, boxing organizations are getting paid more, boxing promotions are getting paid more, ticket sales are going up, in-seat ticket sales, pay-per-views are going up. Show me the numbers as to where the entire industry and organization of boxing is making more money simply because Jake Paul is in the industry of boxing now. Show me the numbers on that. Because here's the thing. If Jake Paul was truly benefiting boxing, every single fighter would be making more money. Every single organization would be making more money. Every single promotion would be making more money. Anyone and everyone, managers, coaches, trainers, dietitians, boxers themselves, everyone in the industry would be making more money. Show me the numbers on that. Show me the numbers that delineate and illustrate unequivocally and irrevocably that Jake Paul is making everyone and anyone more money in the sport of boxing. Show me the numbers. Go ahead and leave it in the comments below. Post a link, post something where you can show me actual numbers that Jake Paul is increasing everyone's revenue in the world of boxing and combat sports worldwide. I bet you can't. I bet you can't. I would be shocked if you could show me anything that delineates that any organization that that Jake Paul isn't involved in is making more money because he is now boxing. Jake Paul is not benefiting boxing. Okay? Seriously, if you can find numbers or statistics or stats that show that everyone's making more money and doing better in the world of combat sports or boxing because of Jake Paul, show me. Right? Now, here's who is benefiting. Well, Jake Paul himself, his brother Logan, Most Valuable Promotions, which is his, sports management agency, boxing promotion, whatever it is, and anyone else who's on a Jake Paul card. That's who's going to be benefiting, specifically probably a main card. Because there's more attention, there's more money being tossed around at those events. That's who's going to be benefiting. That's it. There's no one else that's going to be benefiting in the world of boxing because Jake Paul is boxing other than people who are boxing on his cards, on his events. Those are the only people that are going to be benefiting. So this argument of, well, no, Jake Paul's done a lot for boxing. He's helping the fighters out. He's helping the promotion out. He's he's really just bringing revenue and doing wonders for the world of boxing. Tell me how, because I don't see how, and I pretty much guarantee he's really not. The only one who's benefiting is really him. Another thing, too, about the fighter pay thing. Jake Paul does not care about fighters being paid. He does it because it pisses Dana off. I don't think that many people really believe him, but let me tell you why. If Jake Paul cared so much and was so worried and distraught and perturbed and just disconsolate and depressed that fighters are not being paid what he thinks they should get paid, which I think he says every fighter should get like 20 and 20 or something like that, right? Which would be great, but that's probably never going to happen, especially on the UFC. I think now it's like 8 and 8 or 10 and 10. I think that's a bare minimum. Let me tell you why Jake Paul doesn't actually care. Because if Jake Paul cared with the amount of money that he has made, he could fund it himself. He could start a nonprofit organization. He could start a fund and put in a couple mil every event or fight that he has, which I'm sure he's making more than a couple mil per event or fight that he has. He could start a fund and have people donate to it and donate it to it from his own purse, which is plentiful. He could be donating money every single fight. He could have raised probably $5-10 million from his own, just money from his own organizations. Probably wouldn't even cost him that much out of his own purse with everything he's got going on. And as long as he's been famous, the amount of money that guy's amassed, 5-10 mil probably really isn't that much to him. So, for him to say, I care about fighters getting paid, Well, let's see your statements where you're taking care of fighters yourself, and you have an organization or a nonprofit or some sort of fund that you've started to dedicate to fighters getting paid more. And maybe each fighter gets a little bit of that fund every time they fight, or everyone on the undercard gets paid an extra 5-10K out of your fund that you've started. Oh wait, you don't have one. You don't have one, Jay. At least not that I'm aware of. Because if he really cared about fighter pay, he'd be doing it out of his own purse, which he could definitely afford to do. But he's not. What is he doing? He's going on podcasts and talking about it because he knows it pisses Dana off. That's all he's doing. He doesn't care about fighter pay. He could solve most of fighter pay probably on his own if he wanted to with his own money. But he doesn't. Because he doesn't give a shit. He does it because he knows it annoys Dana, and he knows it kind of wins UFC fighters, in a sense, the ones that are gullible, over to his side, and that makes Dana upset. And he knows it can cause chaos in the UFC because fighters can start like Francis Ngannou, they can start complaining and saying, well, these boxers, these retired MMA fighters are making $5 million for a fight with Jake Paul. Why can't we do it? And then he's egging him on. He's like, yeah, Dana, why don't you pay him more? It creates that whole situation, and he knows that. He's calculated. But as far as I'm concerned, Jake Paul has no real benefit to boxing. Now, influencer boxing, he has a benefit to. Have there been some kids that have joined gyms because of Jake Paul? Maybe. I don't know if it's because of him. Probably more because boxing is becoming a big thing in the influencer world now. Not that any of them are really good, but there's more influencers now that you'll see boxing, or even if it's not on events, like just in their videos, whatever it is, on Instagram now than ever. Again, not that they're good. He's done, I guess you could say, good for influencer boxing, but as far as boxing as a whole, like the true traditional boxers, getting them paid more and bringing more attention to the sport, not really. Most of the people that watch him fight are MMA fighters who want to see him get beat, or it's like, celebrities who want to see what's going on. It's like most hardcore boxing fans don't really care about that. Unless he's fighting someone big or that's in the boxing world, they don't really care. So even the people that are watching it, and those sales and numbers, pay-per-view sales, they're not translating to real boxing. Show me the numbers. You can't. I mean, show me. If they're out there, I'll admit I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're not, because I don't think they exist. So Jake Paul's a very wise man. He's very cunning. He's kind of tricked everyone into thinking he's a really good boxer by fighting guys who know nothing about boxing. And yes, you can be an MMA champion and know nothing about boxing and also be a terrible boxer like Tyron Woodley. He's convinced people that he's a good boxer by fighting world champions that are terrible at boxing, beating them, and then saying, oh, I beat a world champion. And that's very intelligent. That's a very nice trick. And it's worked several times. I think people are kind of catching on now. I'm not saying he's bad. I think he's pretty decent. I think he's probably equivalent to like a low-level pro. But Tommy Fury's equivalent to a low-level pro. And Tommy Fury smoked him. So, I mean, do with that what you will. But, prove me wrong in the comment section. I'm curious. I want to start a conversation about this. Is Jake Paul really changing boxing? Is he doing anything that's benefiting anyone in the world of boxing besides himself and his organization and maybe some of the fighters on his card? No, not really. Just a thought. I respect Jake and what he's done. I'm not saying he's unsuccessful, because clearly he is successful at what he's done. But as far as him being a really good boxer, beating high-level guys, changing boxing and changing fighter pay and bringing more revenue to boxing overall, I'm not buying it. Let me know. Prove me wrong in the comments below. And we'll see. I'll be responding to every single comment. Let's start a conversation about it. And that's all for now. My name's Angela. This is The Art of Violence. And until next time.